What's going on, football fam? My name is Dave Sarner, and welcome to another edition of the Rise and Fall Fantasy Football Show, Week 9 edition. Now, in this week's games, we're going to be going over every single game on the Week 9 docket, as always. So just so you know, we cover one episode per game this week, so there's going to be a lot of episodes coming your way. So make sure that you subscribe to the channel, ring that bell so you'll get notified when all of my videos go live, and then you'll have all that content ready for this Sunday. Now, with all that being said, enjoy the episode for Week 9. On this episode, we're going over the 1 o'clock game between the Carolina Panthers and the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, the Kansas City Chiefs are the home team, and they are a 10.5-point favorite at home hosting the Carolina Panthers with an over-under of 53. This is a little odd to me, considering that I don't think the Carolina Panthers are as bad as this spread really makes them seem to be, and I think this might be a little closer game than you would think. Both defenses are playing extremely well in a lot of areas and giving up really, stingy amount of points to quarterbacks, wide receivers, and tight ends. The only little snag or the only little hole that I would see in terms of these defenses is Panthers running backs rankings. They're giving up the 4th most points to running backs. Outside of that, all of the other rankings are either 22nd least amount or above, meaning that they're not giving up a lot of points to these positions. So I question why the over-under is 53 to begin with, first of all, but also a 10.5-point favorite. Is there some guy? Is Teddy Bridgewater out that I'm not aware of here? That would be the only thing that I can see that would maybe knock them out, but it doesn't make quite a lot of sense to me. Now, maybe it's because Carolina struggled last week against Atlanta. Very possible. The best guy on Thursday night was the best guy last week was Curtis Samuel. 19.4 fantasy points, had a really big game. Teddy Bridgewater struggled. He did get hurt, if you remember. And then I forgot what his name was. The guy from the XFL came back. PJ Walker, I believe his name was. And then so Teddy came back in, had 12 points. Not the best game, no doubt about it. Mike Davis had 8 points, but they do get Christian McCaffrey back. And so I don't really know. Now, the things that did concern me was Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore struggling against Atlanta's secondary. Maybe that's where they're seeing this problem with the quarterbacks and the wide receivers here, because they didn't really produce last week. I mean, Robbie had 7 points. DJ Moore had 6. They both had 6+ targets, but they only had 40 or less than 60 yards each. So I don't know why the spread is so high, in my opinion. I don't think it's going to be that much of a spread when it's all said and done. And I don't think, I don't know, it's Patrick Mahomes, but I don't think the over-under is going to hit that 50 range. So I'm not sure about that one. But let's look at this from a fantasy perspective. Now, this week, the Panthers, like we said, they are pretty good at all positions. They are ranked 26th against the quarterback, although it is Patrick Mahomes. So let's assume that he's still going to put up a pretty good day, They're giving up the 4th most points to running backs, 28th most to wide receivers, and 23rd most to tight ends. So pretty stingy at wide receiver in the passing game in particular. The run game is where I do see Clyde Edwards-Helaire having a big day, though. I have him pretty high this week at number 8, even with Le'Veon Bell. I have him at 19, by the way. I like both those guys in this matchup here. And I think, listen, the Chiefs are the Chiefs. I don't think you can look at the defense and say, well, they're not going to do this. They're going to do something. They're going to put up points. And I think one of those big things is they're going to get the ball to Le'Veon Bell in the pass game and Clyde Edwards-Helaire in the pass game as well. And maybe even utilize Tyreek Hill on jet sweeps, Mecole Hardman on jet sweeps. They can do that, and they do use that. So I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. I don't like Sammy Watkins if he comes back this week at all. I would be sitting him 100%. And listen, tough matchup for Travis Kelce, but he's the number 1 tight end in fantasy. Like we said, only 1 tight end with over 100 points and a half-point PPR, and he is that guy. So you're going to start him regardless. You have to. He's the best guy at the position by about, I think, 40 points right now. So that's a must-start regardless. Patrick Mahomes, even in a tough matchup, you're going to start him. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Le'Veon Bell, my opinion, must-starts too. I like Le'Veon in the flex. I know it was a little disappointing. You thought he was going to have this revenge game last week. I did too. I think this week he'll have a much better opportunity against a tougher defense in other areas. But that defense can be run on. 4th most points. We saw it, So I do like the running backs here. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Le'Veon Bell bring a little bit more spark than Todd Gurley. You're going to start Tyreek Hill. Tough matchup, though. No doubt about it. I think his speed's a little better of a matchup for Jackson on Carolina's side. So I do think he'll be okay, but I don't trust any of the other receivers in that offense this week at all. On the other side of things, the Panthers, guys, really tough matchup. Chiefs are actually really good against the quarterback, giving up the 27th most points and the 29th most points to wide receivers. That does scare me about Teddy. It does scare me for these receivers. Although I do still like Robbie. I think they're going to get him involved more. And I think they're going to be able to get some things done. I think this matchup's a little more deceiving than you think from Teddy. I don't think Teddy's going to put up crazy numbers, but I think he'll put up commendable numbers, 17, 18 points, 240 yards and 2 touchdowns or whatever. And I do like Robbie Anderson, Curtis Samuel, DJ Moore. I know Samuel had a great day, and they want to keep getting him involved. It's tough to trust that this week, though. I can't. I'm not going to go out of my way to put those guys in my lineup. DJ Moore, sure, but there's other options that I might like more over him. And let me just see here real quick. DJ Moore, 24th on my list. I mean, I'll take Marquise Brown, Chase Claypool, and Devontae Parker over him. But I would start him over guys like, maybe Antonio Brown, maybe Juju, Deontay, Marvin Jones. So I have him pretty high, 24. So I'm not like overly, pessimistic about the opportunities here. But I think you might be able to get some better value from some of the guys deeper in my rankings. And I have a feeling he's a guy I'm going to move down when it's all said and done at the end of the week. Panthers tight ends, you're not going to play them. You're just not going to play them. I'm not even going to go into them. And defense, Chiefs, you can start this week. I mean, I know I just said everything about the matchup, but it is a tough matchup from their Panthers perspective. You're gonna throw in the Chiefs. They're playing really well right now from that defensive point. They're putting up like double-digit points in most scoring formats for the last couple of weeks. So they've been playing really well. Secondary seems a little better. Juan Thornhill, love that guy. Chris Jones back just makes that defense so much better. When they were a little bit worse earlier in the year, Chris Jones was out. So just remember that. Because when he's in and that team is at full force defensively and Mahomes is on, it's hard to stop them. So I do still really like Chiefs defense. But I also do like Robbie Anderson and, of course, Christian McCaffrey. If he's back, you're starting him regardless. And I think that he'll get involved more. The weakest area in the Chiefs, even though it's not that weak, is 22nd against the running back. So Christian McCaffrey, you start him regardless of the matchup, you're starting him. You know what I'm saying? So just to recap for this game, guys, we like Christian McCaffrey. We like Robbie Anderson. I am not as high on everyone else on the Panthers this week at all. DJ Moore, Teddy Bridgewater, I'm going to try not to start if I have the opportunity. Derek Carr is a guy who I would absolutely start over Teddy Bridgewater. And actually, there's a lot of guys. Let me just see here. Teddy, I have at number 21. I have Tua over him. I have Daniel Jones over him. I have Kirk over him. I have Matt Ryan and Drew Brees over him. I don't like the matchup for Teddy this week. And then on the Chiefs side, I'm staying away from some of the more questionable picks. Sammy Watkins, Mecole Hardman. I like the running backs. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Le'Veon Bell, fire him up. Patrick Mahomes, you're good. Kelsey, best tight end in the game by 40 points. You're going to put him in regardless, no matter the matchup, even if it's a decently tough one this week.